Hello and welcome to today's live English lesson. I'm Richie and welcome to AM Language. And I think now it's showing on YouTube. This is strange. I know it's telling me it's on YouTube, but here we go. Share. I've been trying to share it for the last, I don't know how long actually. It wasn't really, YouTube wasn't behaving well for me at today, but it's now working. So good afternoon. Welcome to the lesson today, everybody. Irina F, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Evelina, you too, good morning. Today we are going to look at exam English. Now, exam English in terms of word categories. Knowing how to do certain tasks when they're looking, when the question is testing your knowledge of word categories. And this ranges from the easy to the extremely difficult. We'll try and hit different levels today. We'll start off easy and we'll build up. If you are watching later, make sure that you look at the live chat section. That is where you will see all the action. And if you are watching later, you can probably fast forward the first 3 or 4 minutes. It usually takes us a bit of time before we get in. But I hope you're all doing well. Now, this week, we're all, you know what? Time is going by very, very quickly. We can already begin to think that October is nearly at an end. It's the 19th of October today. So time is going by very quickly. Well, I think time is going by very quickly at the moment. Alida, buenos dias. Buenos dias, and welcome to today's live lesson. And thank you very much for joining. So let me just tell you guys what you can expect this week at AM Language in terms of activities, and then I'll tell you what to expect on the in the lessons this week. So guys, if you are new, or if you do like meeting new students, then today you have the option for a meet and greet in the evening, which is normal on a Monday afternoon, well, Monday evening. It's a good chance for new students to meet each other, and maybe some students who have been there for a while can also come along and meet the new students. Casa Roca, Piccola, and a Valletta Walk. Now, Valletta is a lovely, lovely old city. It was designed after the Great Siege of Malta, so it was designed in the late 1500s, and it's a beautiful city. You then have the option for a spa at the hotel, but then this evening you've got a football match. Sorry, tomorrow you have a football match. Then on Wednesday you've got a bus trip to Indima, and you get to go to other places and see like Dingley Cliffs, a lot of very nice places in Malta. And then in the evening you have the option to go bowling. Thursday you have something called Uniquely Malta, which is a cultural food and cultural experience. And then in the evening there's the option for cinema and a dinner at Santinini. Friday, you have the option to go horse riding if you like horse riding, scuba diving as well, and then you get to have the option in the evening to see Malta by night. On Saturday, you've got the typical Saturday activity, which is to do with going to Gozo and Camino, and then Sunday, you've got the opportunity to do one of two things. Either you can go to the south of Malta, unless it's the same thing in one, because they're not close to each other, but you've got to, first of all, in the morning, you can go to the south of Malta. Some lovely, beautiful places to swim there as well. Then I think later on in the day, you have the option to go to Popeye Village to a place called Anchor Bay, which is a lovely bay. So I do recommend it. As for this week, guys, so today we've got word categories, exam, English. Tuesday, we've got writing skills, conjunction language, such as, though, whereas. How do we use these properly? Wednesday, there's more grammar sentence building. We're going to take it to the next level. Thursday, everyday British English words. Do join me for that one. There'll be plenty of words that you might not know. And then Friday, there's pronunciation, and we're going to focus on the pronunciation of vowel sounds. So that's all to come this week at AM Language and the free online YouTube lessons as well. So let's begin. This week, by the way, we are starting the week with 480 subscribers. So thank you, everybody who has subscribed up until now. We are therefore just 20 subscribers away from the first big landmark, which is 500 subscribers. So let's see, can we get 20 new subscribers before the end of October? Fingers crossed we do. So guys, word categories. Obviously, you've got nouns, you've got verbs, you've got adjectives, and you've got adverbs as well. Now, there are two typical types of presentation of this sort of thing in an exam. The first is the easier of the two. The second is a lot harder. Now, some of you might have heard of an exam called the Cambridge exam. Now, they've gone through a process of renaming all their different types of exams, but classically people know them as, for instance, First Cambridge English, FCE, or CAE, Cambridge Advanced English. But these days they've now changed it. So the Advanced Cambridge is now, I think it's called Cambridge C1. And First Cambridge English, I think, is now called Cambridge B1. So they've changed the wording, and this is the same. And we part of the level test is inspired by it's inspired by two exams. The level test that we run at school, it's inspired by the IELTS and the Cambridge exam. So we have a little bit of both. Alida says that you sit for FC when I was you sat when you were 16. You sat for the FCE, First Cambridge English exam when you were 16. Wow. Okay. Did you do? I assume you did well. Judging by your English, I'm guessing you did well in the exam. But yeah, it's an exam that does also last longer than the IELTS exam as well. But we take elements from both. Of course you did. Excellent. I'm glad to hear, Alida. So let's look at the first one, which is the easier of the two that we can look at. And then afterwards, we'll look at the second. The second is definitely harder, because for the second, you need to think about prefixes and suffixes. So let's start off. We'll start off with something nice and easy, and then we'll go into it. But we're going to make it just we'll gradually make it a bit harder. So typically speaking, in the first one, you'd have really short, incomplete sentences. So I'm going to go straight away with a very, very basic one, which would be at elementary. So you might see something like this. Okay. Okay. And then you would be looking at the options in the square, because there's always in a square or rectangular box or some kind of box above the task. And you'll have different words. and they won't be in the correct verb tense to begin with. You might see sit, for example. So you would then have to go with A, and you would have to say, right, A is sat. So the simpler level, you just have to make sure you put the verb in the correct form. So we are going to start off with verbs, but we're going to start off with verbs not at an elementary level, because I know the people who are watching are not at an elementary level. So let's put it up a little bit, and we'll put it in at a certain level that could be challenging in some sort of way. So let's begin. So a I'm going to change it. Be. C. B. Okay, so you've got these sentences here. Sorry, I was a bit quiet as I was just going through the sentences, thinking carefully. Your options are um, okay, so off we go. This is the first one. Your options are think, play, notify, and strike. And you've got A, B, C, and D. So in this example over here, you guys would have to try and link these words to the correct sentences that would make sense, and then put the right form of the verb in. This is definitely still the easier of the two, but this will then give us plenty of time to look at the harder of the two exercises anyway. And it will certainly, the one after this will have to really think about prefixes and suffixes and all that. But before we get into that, let's just have a little look at this. But it's definitely, it's definitely something that I've now put this at a higher level. This is not at a pre-intermediate or elementary level. This is more at a I would actually say some of them maybe B1, some of them B2. So some would be appropriate for intermediate, others would be appropriate for upper intermediate. So some B1 level, some B2 level. Have a little go. You do have to think about your verb patterns. Um, Absolutely, actually, yes. You would have to really think about your verb patterns to make sure that you get these right. So, yeah. So the first one, she hasn't been of the error. B, if he had been by lightning, we would have known. C, about it, I would say this was avoidable. And D, if it wasn't for our hearts out, we would have been destroyed. Um, so let's see how you guys do. Okay. You'll notice that the type of grammar that we've used here is a little bit difficult in some places. Like you've got um, the first one, A. You've got it's a passive past perfect. B, this is a form of a conditional, one that we've looked at recently. Um, as is D, it's another form of a conditional that we've looked at recently. C, this is a language structure that we have looked at, and I think we've looked at it on more than one occasion. So let's see how you guys do, and then we'll move on to the tricky adjectives. I want to make sure I get that right. Good. Yes. The one about the one after this, yeah, it's going to be adjectives primarily, because you've got to really know your adjectives in terms of the suffixes and prefixes as well. The prefix can be really annoying. So let's see. If you guys need any help, let me know in the live chat section, um, and I'll be happy to help you out. Sometimes you do need to think about the preposition. The preposition can actually tell you which verb you need to use because certain prepositions only go with certain verbs in this case. Um, so, yes, the preposition can be helpful, can be very helpful because you've got some dependent prepositions in here as well. So let's see. Let's see what you guys do. If you want me to help you out, just let me know. So leader has come out with notified for A, playing for B, C for C is thought, D if it wasn't for okay. So you've got some question marks there. Okay. Let's see if anyone else comes in. Evelina, maybe, if you'd like to have a go. Uh, one is notified. Okay. So you agree with the leader for number one. I don't know. Maybe I've made this. Maybe this is a bit too difficult. Maybe we need to go again with the verbs and just make it a touch easier. Okay, guys. Look, I'll tell you what the answers are. I think I've probably made this one just a little bit too difficult. Like I said, some of these are more B2 level, so you can expect them to be a bit difficult at time. Now, you both got the first one right. A is notified. So she hadn't been notified of the error. So in this case, notified takes on the synonym of the word told. B, if he hadn't been, now you've got this word by, and it's in the context of lightning. So you get struck, you get strike in the present, struck in the past. So struck by lightning. If he hadn't been struck by lightning. So struck is another word for hit. C. Now, here you've got about it. Alida's gone for thought about it. I would say this was avoidable. When you've got your sentence and you're going to have to start things off with a verb, you should probably think, do I need to use something called a present participle? The answer is yes. So the answer here is thinking. So thinking about it, I would say this was avoidable. I can see why you've gone for thought, because of this, the rest of the sentence is in the past. But the first part of this is not linked to a sentence. So a tense, sorry. So think back to that lesson we had on finite or non-finite verb forms. And D, if it wasn't for, well, it leaves us with only one. Now, here there's a cheeky, again, there's a preposition clue, for. I thought it was a second conditional, says Alida. Number C, sorry, letter C. I see what you mean by because of the would, but the first part of the sentence isn't complete in that way. We would have to say, if I thought about it. So if you had, if I thought about it, I would say, then it would make sense. But it doesn't have if exactly. So that's why it can't be a conditional there. Now, this last one, if it wasn't for. Now, when you've got for followed by a verb, the verb has to have ing. Now, this is a verb pattern situation, and the preposition can help us again. So, for playing. So, if it wasn't for playing our hearts out, we would have been destroyed. So, this here was actually quite difficult, perhaps. But what I would like you guys to take a note of is the preposition. The preposition of these words. So, what we can learn from this is this, okay? Notify of, okay? Strike, struck by. You get struck by lightning, for example. Thinking about, and for playing. So these are important verb patterns, but you can see here that the preposition makes a bit of a difference. But I'll tell you what, let's go again with this. Let's see how you guys do. I'm going to stick with the same words, the same verbs, but now that you know a little bit more, let's see how you get on with the next exercise, okay? So notify, I should point out something, by the way, with notify before we start. Notify of something or notified of something. Stick in the past, notified by someone. So of is of something, by is of someone. Remember that. So Let's see here. Okay. Let's see how you guys get on with this. Let me make sure that we've got everything. A, B, C, and D. Okay, guys, have a go. So same word as before. This time it's in an actual sort of a few sentences that are together. Let's see if you can connect the correct ones together. Let's see how you guys get on. Think very carefully again of the preposition. The preposition will tell you what word you probably need to use. We just need to make sure we put it in the right way. So she was the complaint. Something about it. If it wasn't for guts out, we would have been killed. We were by their abilities. By the way, when this one here, you'll see that there's a sentence very similar to another one up there. But I'll wait for you guys to put in the answers before I tell you what this particular part of the sentence means, because it has the same meaning as something else that you would have read previously. But let's see what you guys go with here. So think of the preposition really carefully. Think of the rest of the sentence. It's going to tell you what you need to do, what you need to go for. So have a little look, okay? And this is a good exercise in the sense that at this level, for example, this is when the preposition really does matter, because it does tell you an awful lot about which verb to use. So Alida's gone with notifying, thinking, playing, and stroke. Strike. Slightly different word, stroke. Stroke would be like stroking a cat, or a stroke like stroke like a swimming stroke. Struck, yes, that makes more sense. Okay, good. Alida, do the others agree with you? Evelina, Irina F, do you agree with Alida's answers? Have you come to the same conclusions? If you have, that will tell me an awful lot about how successful this activity just was. Because if you have, that will tell me that you are either all on the same page or that you're not all on the same page. Sergio, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Today I'm watching and paying attention. Warm regards. Thank you, Sergio. And nice use of the word paying attention. Well done. Evelina says yes, that she agrees with the leader, and excellent. Well done, guys. Yes, you are correct. So I think it's fair to say that in this lesson, we can now say that we have learned how to use these four verbs properly in a more difficult way. And this is a key thing. Yes, we can probably see the tense, but prepositions really matter as you get, as the higher the level goes, the more the preposition can begin to make a really big difference when it comes to the verb. And this is where we're thinking of something called dependent prepositions. Now, in a level test exam, sometimes the preposition will tell you which verb you need. The rest of the sentence is going to tell you what tense the verb needs to be in. So my recommendation is, guys, when you learn new verbs, or if you're looking at how to use verbs at a higher level, make sure you look and make sure you learn about the prepositions that the verb goes with. This comes under word collocation. Okay, word collocation. Okay, it's really important, and there's a lot of sites, including some very good dictionaries as well. I'll share one online dictionary that I am a fan of, and that is a lexico.com. It's powered by Oxford Dictionary, and you can find the word used in sentences. And when you look at all the different sentences, you will find a lot of prepositions, these words being used with their preposition. Phrasal verbs also, says a leader. Yes, phrasal verbs. Yes, phrasal verbs, because you've got to have a preposition there. Now, the thing about phrasal verbs is that we have to be a bit careful, because a phrasal verb could have many different meanings. So from a meaning point of view, we do have to be careful, because some phrasal verbs have a lot of possible meanings while others don't. But it does tell you what type of prepositions you can use with that verb. And that makes it already a big difference. So yes, effectively, another way to learn about the prepositions that go with verbs, look at phrasal verbs as well. Really important. Okay, guys. So now let's look at the next one. Okay, we're going to look at the next task. Now we don't have a huge amount of time left, so I think I might do something like this next week, but with prefixes. We don't have enough time to look at prefixes, but we do have enough time to look at suffixes. So how does this activity work? Let's start off with something easy, and we'll go from there. So let's say sentence reads, okay, yeah, we're going to go with this. Now, as you can see, he is a. Where am I getting this one? Yeah. Okay, so at the moment here, we are looking at suffixes. We're not looking specifically at any word categories. We're just going to look at the word, at the suffix thing. So how does this work? So you might have a sentence like this. He is a, and in brackets on the side, you have work. Now, this is something you might see in Cambridge. You then have to think, okay, right, he is, no, I can't say he is a work. So what suffix can I add to work that completes this sentence and is going to make sense and is going to complete the word? So you will have to think of, okay, you can go through the different types, but what I can tell you is that in this case, the suffix is aholic. So workaholic is the answer. He is a worker. Yes, Evelina, that is another possibility. You could say he is a worker. But in this case, now I imagine there would be maybe a little bit more of a context, maybe. But in this case, it's going to be workaholic. So you would then write workaholic in the answer. So that's what we mean. We need to think of what suffix we need in order to complete the sentence. Now, let's go with another one. We'll start off easy and we'll work our way up. Now, I'm going to say that there are two possible correct answers for this one. There are two possible correct answers for this one. So I will accept both. I will accept both possible answers. And if you all come up with the same one, I'll tell you what the other one is. Okay. Excited is correct. Yes, that's one of them. She is excited. That makes sense. There is another one. Think of... No, I can't think of how to say it without just telling you what it is. She's exciting. Yes, I suppose you could do. Okay, there's three possible answers. I was thinking of this one. Excitable. She is excited. She's exciting. She is excitable. Okay, well, we've got three different possible answers there, but all are correct. And we've got three possible answers, which is nice. So I'm now going to go with, I'm going to give you some sentences, and you need to try and come up with the correct suffix. I will try and give you an idea of whether you need to be thinking it in terms of a tense, or if you need to be thinking in terms of something specific, maybe a noun. I don't want to give too much away, because if I start telling you you need to think of a noun, that's going to be too obvious. Usually there wouldn't be that much of a hint either. Let's go with this, okay? Let's go with the first one. Okay, so that's let's have a little look at the first one. When you think of this, think of how much of a hint should I give you for this one? I think I will give you a small hint. I'm going to give you a small hint for this one. Okay, think in terms of an adjective. Okay, B. I think this one is a slightly easier one. Maybe it might be a little bit too easy, but never mind. I think I've given you some hard things today, so I'm happy to leave this one in. I don't need to give you a clue for this one, that I've just posted. C. And I think C might be a little bit easy. We've got two easy ones there. Let's go with something a little bit more challenging at the end. B is cerebrally. Evelina, read B again. Read B again. Read carefully, because what you've put down is a different word completely. So read B again. finish off with this one. Okay, let's see what you guys come out with. I can tell you by the B is don't overthink B. I've made B a little bit easy, so B. Think simple with B. So Alida's gone for analyzing, celebration, artless, and closing. Okay. Artless. Right. Celebration, analyzing, closing. Okay, guys. So tell me if you think you agree with Alida. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. In some cases, there could be more than one correct answer. So if you have any different answers, just let me know. I mean, all of these. Oh, yes, I suppose I did. For each of one of these, I think they're all. I think I've just gone for with except one. 1, 2, 3 are nouns. 1 is an adjective. Evelina, yes. Okay, so you agree with celebration. B is celebration, guys. Yes. B is celebration. What is A? Do you agree that it's analyzing, or do you think it's something different? Yeah, so 2 are adjectives, 2 are nouns. 2 are adjectives, 2 are nouns. Do you agree with Alida? So I'm going to give you a clue. B is fine. B is correct. C, you've got 2 options. Um, okay, so you're coming up with some different answers here. So analytical, Alida's put for number 1. Yeah, that makes more sense than analyzing. So the analytical data. Data is the noun, and what do we need to put? We need to put an adjective in between the noun and the article. Analytical. C, you've got 2 options, artless or artistic. B is celebration. So this just leaves us with C. So the word is close. The base word is close, and then you've got this U-R-E at the end. Closure. Yes, well done, Alida. Okay, guys, so thank you so much. That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Now, this lesson was ended up being, I think today's lesson was probably on the difficult side of things. Thank you, Sergio, for watching. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and bye for now. But I kind of feel that even though it was quite difficult, there's something to learn from this lesson being quite difficult. Yes, it was quite hard. Irina says, thanks, Richard. Have a nice evening. You're welcome. So yeah, even though it was a bit harder, I think because it was a bit harder, maybe you guys ended up learning something a bit more. First and foremost, prepositions and verbs. And this last one over here, I mean, the last one over here, it can be quite difficult. And it's the sort of thing that you do get in exams as well. And Evelina, yes, see you as well. So guys, Irina, Alida, Evelina, and Sergio, thank you for watching today. Anybody watching later, have a lovely evening. tomorrow, thank you for watching. Tomorrow is linking words. Now, well, conjunction words. This will be good for most levels. This will be good for most levels because these are words you can use at most levels. And whether you're pre-intermediate or up intermediate, it's going to be useful. So see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you and bye for now.